Hey everybody, I'm back with another video, which is again impromptu. I don't even need these headphones. This one is in regards to ownership. It's a big topic. A lot of people don't seem to grasp that concept, or they just disregard it. But I've ran across a video and it just went down a rabbit hole of things in my head where I'm like, oh yeah, that is an issue. So if we look at the screen here, I recently came to this guy's video. He is okay. I came to this guy's video and his video is talking about Kindle having an issue. If you don't know what Kindle is, and you probably do, Kindle is a digital reading library. You can purchase books from an enormous catalog. They have a lot of books, not every book, but majority. So you can buy the books, you read them at your leisure, take it with you, so on and so forth. But he said something very interesting. I listened to this entire video and I'll link it in the description. It's very interesting that he spoke about. I'll just tell you. So this guy says, I forgot I don't have the audio recording set up for the separate screen. So what he says is in 2012, a lady had her Amazon account suspended for, whatever reason. She did something against TSA, I guess. So her account being suspended meant that she lost her entire library of books. She contacted her Amazon. She's trying to figure out, hey, how can I get my books? And he explains verbatim, but I'm going to just kind of remix it. Essentially, they say, we can't help you out. Make a new account if you want to read books again. So essentially, they're telling her, hey, you spent all this money on all these books you have, but because your account is suspended, well, you've lost all that. Because buying books digitally, buying almost anything digitally, does not mean you own it. You are licensing. What licensing means is that you temporarily have the ability to access something across the board. That's what it is. That's always been licensing. That will always be what that is. So remember, the whole reason of this video, when you buy something online and it's a digital goods and or service, most of the time you do not own it. That's the issue with not owning physical copies of anything. So he was the one example for that. And I don't do digital reading. I don't do Kindle. I buy physical books. But it's popped up and I thought it was interesting. So that's one case. This is Amazon, right? The conglomerate, basically the monopoly of all things online purchasing. So there's one example, guys. If you really want to read a book, believe it or not, bookstores, they have a good amount of chairs. Sit down, either read the back of the book or read a few pages if you got time, and then decide, do I want to purchase this or not? And it isn't like you can't return the book or resell the book, but it's better that you own it, because even if it's something you only visit once every few months to years, at least you own it. It's not being rewritten. The covers of the books are not being changed for promotional reasons. You own it. That book is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. As in this guy's video, he also explains that same thing. He talks about you can eat the book, you can burn the book. You can do anything pretty much except for reprint that book and sell it yourself, because you don't own the story. You just own that version of the book. So there's that. There's one scenario. Now, here's one that came across my desk today, oddly enough, today as well. So, why thousands of music videos have been removed from YouTube? I guess this happened about a day or two ago, and this is just now catching my eye. And what it essentially is saying, if you kind of read through all this, and if you just Google YouTube CSAC music removal, there's tons of articles. The one I read was Yahoo News. This one's VCR, I guess, UCR, Ultimate Classic Rock. I looked at Verge earlier and something else. So basically, this company called CSAC or SESAC, SASIC, however they want to pronounce it. I guess they have had battles with YouTube about the licensing agreement to renew. Unbeknownst to me, I just assumed if the music's on YouTube, then whoever has that YouTube channel, like Vivo, the money's going to them, and then they figure out how they want to dispense it. That was my assumption. I was not familiar with them having licensing agreements with YouTube. So this is another thing. These guys are having license disputes, and because there hasn't been an agreement, there is a handful of music videos, official music videos, uploaded by the official channels that have been pulled and just inaccessible. Now, I tested this out with the Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana, because that's a lot of the articles really emphasize Nirvana, even though they cover tons of names. Like if I scroll down here, I'm sure I'll find. So look, Smells Like Teen Spirit. That's like the biggest one I've noticed on all these lists. But they have a list of different names here. Here we go. So we got Green Day, Bob Dylan, Rush, Adele. Others have said Kendrick Lamar. There was a few. They said there's thousands of music videos that have been pulled. You can do the digging for more of the specificity of that. But I was able to verify the Nirvana. And I did find the music video that was a re-uploader. Good to them. It wasn't the official thing. So this is another situation. Now, to my understanding, you can't actually own music videos in terms of purchasing physical media. I don't believe groups have ever sold DVDs or anything of their music videos, maybe. But this is going to be a bigger issue, because if you're not familiar or up to speed, the music industry is not doing good at all. Artists aren't really making money. The corporations aren't doing too well in the money industry. That's probably why this licensing deal fell through, because YouTube quotes, and it's cited, you can check on, I'm sure it's on here, that here we go, we have held good faith negotiations with CSAC to renew our existing deal. A representative for YouTube, okay, we don't need that part. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we were unable to reach an equitable agreement before its expiration. We take copyright very seriously, and as a result, content represented by CSAC is no longer available on YouTube in the US. So, if they were coming to negotiation terms and it wasn't agreed upon, what that tells me, aside from what I already know, is they want more money, and as punishment for not giving us more money, well, then we're going to take access to these videos. You can still find the music and all that, but here's the greater image. Here's the bigger picture of this situation. If you think for 1 second that you're going to have access to all this because you pay a monthly subscription service, it is not the case. Yeah, Pandora's cool and cute, and Spotify's cool and cute, and Apple Music, same situation. I understand that you're removing hassle for the ease of access, but because of your laziness, you're ultimately going to cost yourself in the long run from ownership. I still buy albums whenever they make them. Gorillaz, I'll even show you, I buy damn near every album they put out because I really like them. Kendrick Lamar, I buy all of his albums whenever they pop out. I'm pretty sure I have a set of them over there. It's one, I'm pretty sure the artist makes more money that way because streamers aren't paying these people a damn thing, but it's so that you own it. They can't change the lyrics, they can't change the beats. It is in its finalized form, and that is what it is. You own it. You can do whatever you want. You can burn that CD on your computer, you can lend it to somebody, pop it in the car, pop it in a system. You own it. You own that music until that disc gives out. And then guess what? You can always buy another, but them discs are going to last you a long time. If you're doing Spotify and all these other online streaming music apps, sites, whatever. The music is only there, and it's beholden to you for however long they choose to have it. Because again, it's another situation of licensing. And you're a subscriber. You're paying for the service. You don't get the music. They're allowing you to listen to the music, but you don't own it. So who knows how long that's gonna go. And hold on, I want to show you, I'm not lying. So, side note, I started to heavily listen to Gorillaz and pay attention to them when they put out their Humans album. So I've been a huge fan ever since. And I've heard Feel Good and Clint Eastwood and all that. So I got the Human Deluxe Edition album, I think. Right? It's got all this craziness on the inside. Humans. Then I have the Now. Not deluxe, just your average. Physical, right? Then I have Song Machine Volume 1. I don't even know if they're calling it that anymore. But I got this whole deal, right? Then I have, make sure I got these in order. Then I have Cracker Island, which is their latest one so far. Okay? I buy physical. So no one's taking this. If for whatever reason the dude who makes some of their music, well, the main dude who makes the music, if he was like, you know what, I hate the whole, I hate everybody, and then they are like, oh, you hate everybody, huh? And then they just removed all his music, I got it. I separate the music from the artist sometimes. I own it. This is all me. You can't take this from me. Ownership, I'm telling you. Okay. So there's that. Silence this. So, we've now covered that the digital reading market is not a safe place. It's licensing, it's not owning. Now we've hit the music industry. You have a prime example right now. If you really are looking for music videos, they're being pulled. These are licensed things, which I did not know. I thought they were just up and forever on YouTube. So music, license, you need to buy it. Digital books, they're licenses, you need to buy it. You need to own a physical copy. Now, this one you've probably heard about. It's close to my heart because I love games. So obviously I knew this one. So this says that Sony is no longer removing their purchase discovery content. But why do you think that is? So back in, okay, I guess it was in 2020, so last year, they were going to remove discovery content. Now what does that mean? Sony got the rights to Discovery, so it was just like TV shows and things of that nature that I'm not watching anyway. I don't watch that. Probably a lot of people don't. But they had announced that they were removing Discovery content from the PlayStation Store. So even if you bought it, I'm pretty sure it was going to be null and void. So with that being the case, people freaked out. Everyone was in an uproar. Even I was like, this is bullcrap. And this is a prime example that if you buy something digitally, you do not own it. And guess what? Because people were starting to catch wind and starting to use their brain, PlayStation was like, oh, you know what? Let's not remove it. Because now people are realizing that they do have less power if we make them purchase it digitally and not own a physical version of it. So let's back up. Let's play good and give it a few years for people to forget, and then we'll be in control again. Now here's the thing. Because of this Kindle thing, and because of now recently this YouTube licensing thing, I'm hoping that this is gonna run back in people's brain where they're like, oh, you know what? That's right. We don't own this stuff. We're just buying it and licensing it. We're not owning it. Now, to play off of this. So this is coming out sure you've heard about it. The Marvel vs. Capcom collection, right? It has a physical release coming out. It's out digital currently. And you might wonder, well, why is he even bringing this up? Well, I owned Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on my PlayStation 3, and it was a digital copy. Now, guess what? I made that purchase. I played it, and then as I collected more and more games, I decided, well, you know what? Let me remove this one because I'm out of space. I want to put on a new game. So I did that, thinking like, oh, I'll be able to re-download it whenever I want to. Stupid me. Once Sony removed that game off of the PlayStation Store, it was gone even if you paid for it. You couldn't re-download it. It was non-existent. So I lost the money and I had nothing to show for it. And that has irritated me to no end. And that was probably an early example where I was like, oh yeah, digital sucks. Don't do digital. If you can do physical, wait. It is so important that younger people understand, and I understand that they don't want to follow the old ways, I guess. But convenience can be the death of so many things. You don't want to kneel down and pop a CD into a game system or into a DVD player, Blu-ray player, or into your car to listen to music. I understand that we as humans, we want to get more things done with less effort. That's efficiency, right? Sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. You can't depend on everything to be digital. Yes, it's pretty and it's cool and it's very economic in some cases, but there is no greater power to have than freedom and ownership. Truly, ownership is so valuable, and so many people, especially younger people, neglect to understand that. If you can get something physical, please get it physical. This generation of consoles, this is it as far as I know. They're selling the PS5 Pro digital. You gotta pay for the disc drive separately. Just the fact that they made two versions of the PlayStation, one digital and one physical, what does that tell you? This next generation, odds are you are not getting a physical drive. That's it. You're buying those games digitally, which means you do not own them. You have them, sure, you paid for them, you are licensing. And at the drop of a dime, they can remove it. And you won't have any say in it, and you won't have any legal ramifications. You can't sue them. They're the ones running the show. They have the paperwork, they have the lawyers, they have the know-how, and they're going to write it a certain way. Please, 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 this video was made just to emphasize, buy physical media. It's not a bad thing. Trust me, in the long run. I still have PS1 games that work and I play. I still have tons of PS2 games. They're scratchy, but they work and they play. These are old consoles. Ooh. Just 94. This console came out in 1994, and I still have a handful of games that work. Okay? That's a long time for them to still be effective. Let's do PS2. 2000. I own games right now. Though they are scratchy, they are 24 years old and they still work. They have the original dialogue. They have the original gruesome and explicit content if it's there. Nothing's changed. The music, it's all there. Here's another example. Lollipop Chainsaw just had a game come out, the Repop, right? It's only digital right now. There's physical in Asia, and then Limited Run Games is putting out a physical version. This game doesn't have the licensed music anymore. The PS3 version, or the 360, the original version of the game, has licensed music. Now, the world of that's changed. We know that, DMCA and all that. Remember, the music industry is hurting. So a lot has changed with the ability to get official and licensed soundtracks. The price is probably astronomical compared to what it was back then. Ownership, people, I'm telling you. Ownership. This whole music situation, if you just, now this one is unique because like I said, I don't know if bands and groups and individuals sell their music videos on a DVD. I'm sure they don't. But this is just one step away from just snatching the music altogether because they're that desperate and they don't want you to have the ability to run the show you want to run. Music. Digital books. Guys, please understand you need to own it. And some of you you're not going to care. You're going to be like, screw you. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And then if I lose it, then so shall it be. That's fine. I am not talking to you. I'm talking about people who are just looking for another reason to preserve and to own physical media. There's countless examples that you can look up as to why you should own physical media. Ownership. Buy to own. Do not buy to rent. Do not buy to lease. Buy to own. And I'm talking about media, not necessarily a home or something like that. That's different world. You want to own. Do you want to rent a car? Do you want to own a car? Yes, there's pros and cons. With your media, with your entertainment, I don't want to have to use Google Stadia. I don't even know if that's around anymore. Why would I want to stream a game? That's a temporary game. That's going to be gone at some point. Unless it's like the top of the top echelon, it's going. It is going away. Own, guys. You need to own. It's so valuable, I promise you. The only reason I made this video was because this dude popped up, and then this whole situation popped up with YouTube and SaySac, or however you pronounce it. Own. And even if you're on the fence about something like, well, I don't know if I like it, then you can take those routes to test it, see if you like it. Not sure if you're going to like this song? Okay, do a trial on Spotify. Not sure if you're going to like this game? Well, you used to be able to rent games like Blockbuster and stuff. Not so much now, but there's tons of people streaming it on YouTube. You can possibly find a friend who purchased it. They don't do demos as frequently anymore, which is a shame. But even if you make the purchase on a game, you can still return it for your full money back. It's not many places who are going to argue that. Walmart definitely is not going to dispute it. They return everything. Walmart and Target, I mean, you could make an argument. You'll get your money back. GameStop, I don't know. I don't shop there. Don't go there. But please, ownership. If you can own it, own it. I'm telling you, it's so valuable.